This is the third Italian edition, building the proud legacy of Cortina 1956 and Turin 2006. We have a past that we have to keep into consideration. Cortina was the first edition that was televised, black and white, but it was the first Winter Olympics ever televised. We have a tradition. Across the country, we're trying to foster, to communicate that tradition to a new generation.
Let's talk about the opening ceremony. The theme of the opening ceremony, as the organizing committee has just unveiled a few days ago, is Armonia, which translates to harmony. Would you share with us the concept behind this theme?
Armonia is not just a theme, it's the very heartbeat of the opening ceremony. It's a universal concept, of course, that evolves into a very powerful visual and emotional narrative and identity in a way. It symbolizes a very delicate balance between art and innovation, nature and city, tradition and future, ultimately becoming sort of a living expression of the Italian spirit. As you know, Italian spirit is the core of our vision and our mission. Armonia is also a concept that relates to the overall project of Milano Cortina 2026, knowing that these are games that are widespread. They're spread over a territory that encompasses mountains and cities, different rhythm of life, different cultures, even different languages. But that is what we want to create and what we actually found in the territories that are involved in the Olympic Games. Armonia, harmony. The ceremony in itself will unfold in a sort of a big chorus, in a choral story, trying to blend imagination and beauty, bringing together the brilliancy of Leonardo and the Italian geniuses, inventors, painters, and the sophistication of the current Italian design and taste, the elegance of music, in a way, the Italian way of life that we know that the world appreciates. Speaking of universal language, Armonia will transform Italian values into shared emotions, transcending the boundaries, trying to communicate all this to the external world, to the international crowd, with a message of peace, sustainability, and cooperation.
China's President Xi Jinping has proposed building a community with a shared future for mankind and called on all countries to transcend disagreements and differences, jointly protect our only planet, and develop together the global village as our common home. Your concept at the opening ceremony coincides with President Xi's vision. So what is your thought on this vision?
My thought is this vision interprets much of the values we're standing for. Through the Olympic and Paralympic spirit, we honor what unites people everywhere. In a moment of history where unity and peace are not just values at the base of the Olympic chart, but they should be the values mankind is shooting for. In a time when dialogue and empathy are more essential than ever, the games invite us to rediscover the ties that connect us to one another in a way. Every athlete becomes a symbol of this unit, showing that true excellence thrives where collaboration and understanding meet. So President Xi Jinping's vision is actually something we share.
This will be Italy's third Winter Olympics. As an experienced host, what do you see is the single most significant evolution or innovation this time?
Milano Cortina is a new chapter of the Olympic and Paralympic delivery model for Winter Games. Of course, we are shooting for basic, issues that are sustainability, inclusiveness, and the idea of being deeply connected to the local territories, building the proud legacy of Cortina 1956 and Turin 2006. This is the third Italian edition, and we have a past that we have to keep into consideration. Cortina was the first edition that was televised. Small, little videos, black and white, but it was the first Winter Olympics ever televised. So basically, we have a tradition. Across the country, we're trying to foster, to communicate that tradition to a new generation. Actually, the formula we were thinking right from the beginning is very simple. The games adapt to the territories and not the territories that are adapting to the games. This is the big secret. It's in simple words, the idea of legacy. Of course, transport between clusters are the primary concern. I think that we will be able to set a lot of benchmarks in terms of innovation in logistics, sustainable mobility, and digital solution.
You just talked about the challenges about the transportation. Of course, the games are unprecedented in its scale, spanning across 22,000 square kilometers. Would you tell us more about how to ensure more smooth experience for athletes and spectators across these zones of competitions?
That is the key essence of our work every day. We are presented with a unique transportation challenge. But you know what Italian mountain places are like. They're beautiful, they're gems, but like all gems are small. You can't think of moving from Predazzo to Cortina the same evening. So we ask everybody to try to keep into consideration that it's winter, you're in the mountains in Italy, streets and roads are very narrow, so they have to try to program things in advance. Of course, to address this, huge technical problem, we develop a very robust transportation strategy. And it's centered around our integrated mobility plan, created in collaboration with the Ministry of Infrastructures and Transport. So the governmental help is fundamental in this case. This plan ensures, at least on paper, seamless connectivity between all venues and clusters. Of course, it maximizes the use of existing and temporary venues to reduce the need of extensive new infrastructure. Means also that you have to reach those venues and you have to create new ways to reach those venues that will last over time.
2025 marks the 55th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Italy and China. The upcoming games present a wonderful opportunity for cultural and sporting exchange between the two countries. So how do you hope Milano Cortina 2026 will strengthen the sporting relationship between the two nations and inspire more collaboration in the future?
Well, we are from different generations, of course, and my adult, history is in a way the history of the rise and the growing of China. So China has always been, for my generation, an element of extraordinary development and the idea of making friends with the largest population or the largest country in the world is a permanent idea, at least in my generation. Milano Cortina really presents a unique opportunity to strengthen the culture and the sporting bonds between Italy and China. When we talk about China, we always refer to the political or the economic side of it, but there is an enormous sports side that should be fostered and developed. So we need to facilitate the dynamic exchange of expertise in the major international events, for example. And we had a very good relationship with the Beijing 2022, given that the conditions were different. But I must say that your Olympic and Paralympic Games were a very good example for us, and that we mutuated, that we sort of stole some of your ideas, and we had a very good relationship with you. We talk very often about sports diplomacy. Well, sports diplomacy works because sports is the only set of values that you don't need to translate. You can look at sports from football to alpine skiing, and you can be Chinese or you can be Italian. You can live in Guangzhou or in Milano, but you don't need a translation to see the happiness and the passion and the beautiful energy that encompasses into a sports victory. Last thing I can think about is that the collaboration extends to innovation and expertise, particularly in the area of technological and sustainable solutions. I'm thinking about great Chinese expertise in the technology field. We have some expertise of our own. If we exchange that, we can try to shape a better, new and a better future for the mountaineers. From an eco-friendly venue design to cutting-edge digital fan experiences or advanced management models, the partnership with China is boundless, and it aims to push the boundaries of what is possible, setting new standards for future global events. And Beijing 2022 is not part of my past, is part of my future.